If you are a TPT seller and also a full-time teacher, then life can be very difficult and very busy. So in this video, I'm gonna give some tips to full-time teachers who are also TPT sellers and need a little bit of help with time management, a little bit of help of just like balancing everything to make sure everything is, you know, good and solid and all of that. So let's get into it. All right, number one, if you've seen any of my time management videos, this is always where I start. Number one is know your priorities. You need to know what your main priorities are, and you need to live according to that. What I mean by that, especially with your business, is, are you someone who wants to be in the classroom forever, or are you someone who wants to take your business full-time? The reason being, which camp you're in is going to vastly change how you approach your business. If this is something that's just for fun, just, you know, your fun Starbucks money, that's totally fine. But you're going to want to make sure that you always put your class in your classroom first and TPT comes second. If you want to take this and make it a full-time gig, then you're going to need to lean more into TPT, and that means you're going to have to dial it back a little bit in the classroom, and we'll talk about some ways to do that. But knowing which camp you're in is going to completely change how you approach your business. I will tell you, I'm not in the camp of like quitting teaching, but I do want my business to be a serious, like, actual business. And because of that, I know that that is very important to me. And so I act accordingly. What I mean by that is I make sure that I work in my business every single day. If this is just a side hustle for fun for Starbucks money, you're probably not gonna wanna do that. I know that I need to make sure that I do those things every day. And so even when I come home and I'm tired, I do it anyway because it needs to get done and I need to do those things so that I can move my business forward. Depending on which camp you are in, you're going to treat your business very differently. And so the first thing you need to know is which camp you're in and what your priorities are, because that's going to affect literally everything in your whole entire life. So make sure you know what your priorities are, what your goals are, and what you want to do in the long run. Number two is make sure that when you are using your school stuff for your business. Now, hear me out. Don't work on your business at school, and don't use your physical school things. So don't use your school laptop or your school, you know, that kind of stuff for your business. But what I mean by this is if you are a full-time teacher, you can take all of your lessons that you're doing in class and you can use those for your TPT shop. You can take all the things that happen and you can turn those into YouTube videos, into Instagram reels, into blog posts. All of those things, all of that content, all of those products can come out of what you're doing in class. So I make sure that I use the activities that I use in class. I'm also going to put up on TPT, again, at home on my own laptop. But it will save you so much time if you are starting your products with what you've already started, because chances are you made some stuff that you want to do in your classroom, and so you can use those in your shop. That also makes things easier when you are trying to market, because you can like take pictures and you already have ideas and you have lessons and you have things to talk about because you are in the classroom. So take advantage of all those things from being in the classroom, like having activities, having things to talk about, having content, all of those things, so that you will have, you know, products and things to talk about in your business. That's going to save you a lot of time, and it's also just going to save you a lot of effort, frankly, because it will be a lot easier. Number three is going to be important to that, like, know your priorities, and that is leave school at school. I am so passionate about this. You have no idea, because teachers have been increasingly expected to do more and more and more and more and more. And now there's two main things. Number one, leave school at school because it's supposed to be a job, which means it's not supposed to be your whole life. You're supposed to leave it at school. You're not supposed to do it all of the time. It should stay at school. Don't bring it home. Don't, you know, cross-pollinate, all that kind of stuff. Number two, in the bigger scheme of things, I'm like, how are they able to require teachers to do more and more and more? Well, because we're willing to do more and more and more, which means that people, you know, taking things home and doing all that stuff on their own time allows the districts to give us more work without paying us more or giving us more time. hypothetically, if you work 40 hours, that's saying that you're supposed to be able to do your work in 40 hours. And if you actually, you know, try and put your time in and you can't do your work in 40 hours, then the problem is not you, it's the district. And that is a greater educational issue. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But what I mean in the context of this is make sure you leave your school stuff at school so that you can come home and you can work on your business. That's very important to me, is like school is at school, home is at home, or business is at the house, and making sure those are separate, one, and then also making sure that I'm not bringing home a bunch of work for school so that I can come home and I can work on my business. If you bring home a bunch of work for school, then you're not gonna have time to work on your business. So leave it at school. Even if you have to stay an extra hour at school, leave it at the school, come home, and then work on your business. Leave school at school so that you don't have to worry about it. Number 4 is gonna go along with that, and that is have specific work hours for your business. Now, I know a lot of people have like crazy schedules, so you don't have to have the same work hours, but have specific work hours. So whether that's, you know, I work for an hour every day, or whether that's like I work for 2 hours on Monday and 2 hours on Wednesday, or whether that's, you know, I don't do anything until Saturday and on Saturday I work for 5 hours. Like whatever it is fine, but have specific hours set a time for your business and kind of treat them like that is your job. Like that's how I see my business, is like my business is my job, and so I have to do the things that I need to do to move my business forward. And the number one thing you need to do is to actually work in your business. So make sure that you have specific hours set aside where all you're planning to do is work on your business. They don't have to be consistent hours. You could, like, you know, on Sunday sit down and be like, okay, I can do an hour here, an hour here, an hour here. That's fine. Just have some sort of idea of when you're going to do work and treat it like it is work. Treat it like it is a business. Treat it like you are clocking in and this is what you're doing at this time. Number 5 is when you have those specific work hours, also have specific goals that you're going to work on during those work hours. So every week have, you know, the things that you want to check off. I find like 1 to 3 things is fairly realistic during the school year of things that you need to accomplish that week. Make sure that you have goals and make sure you have plans for what you're going to do. Because when you get your, you know, very few work hours, you want to make sure you can sit down and get to work immediately and not sit down and be like, what should I do today? Maybe I should work on a product. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should check my email. Maybe I should, you know, like all of that, like maybeing is going to take up a lot of time. And instead what you want to do is have a plan so that you're like, okay, I'm going to work for an hour on Monday and I'm going to write this blog post, or I'm going to start my product even if I can't finish it, or I'm going to make a template for XYZ. But have a plan ahead of time. That way when you sit down, you know exactly what to do. You're not wasting any time because you don't have very much of it. So you don't have any time to waste. Make sure you don't waste any time and just get right on it. Number 6 is use the time you have. So what I mean by that is, again, use the time you have in the afternoons, use the time you have on the weekends, use whatever you got. But also, teachers have more breaks than most people. Use your summer, use your breaks. Most of us have a week off for Thanksgiving, and most of us also only do stuff for Thanksgiving for like a couple of days. So I know for me, I sit at home by myself from, you know, Monday to Wednesday, which is great. I'm not complaining at all. But what that means is I have 3 days where I am not at work, where I can work on my own thing. Now, I'm fully supportive of also taking a break, so don't take this totally out of proportion, but use that time that you have. Use your days off, use, you know, your weeks, use your weekends, use whatever you can in order to build your business within reason. Again, make sure you have breaks, make sure you're not overworking yourself, but use the time you have. This is really like top of mind because I'm currently actually filming this during the summer, which will not be out during the summer. But I am practicing what I preach, and I am using the time I have. I have the summertime that I'm not at work. I am teaching summer camp, but it's like 4 hours a week. It's great. And so I'm using that time to get ahead so that I'm ready to go in the school year. I know that I'm not going to be able to do as much during the school year as I can during the summer. So I'm taking advantage of what I've got now to make sure that I can move my business forward and get the things done so that I am all ready to go when school starts. Now, you're probably not watching this over the summer, so take from that what you can, whether that means use the time you have in the mornings, use the time that you have on the weekends, use your breaks, whatever it is, but use whatever time you've got to make it happen, especially if you're in that camp of you want your business to be an actual true business that is generating revenue like a business. Use the time you've got. Take advantage of that. I don't even remember, I'm the worst at this. I think it was a Facebook post and somebody was like asking about when to write blogs, and somebody else was like, you're a teacher, you have all summer, you can write all your blogs over the summer. And I was like, that is brilliant. And you know what I did this summer? I wrote all my blogs over the summer, and it is like life-changing because I now don't have to worry about them for an entire year. Glorious. But my point being, take advantage of whatever time you have so that you can move your business forward. Number 7 is gonna be kind of similar to that, and that is batch your important things. I'm really specifying the important things because some things need to happen for your business to move forward. So that's going to depend on where you are in your business stage. For me, I know that I need a video to come out on this YouTube channel every single week. That's what I've committed to. That's what I need to move this business forward and to make sure things are happening. So I know that at the very least, I have to make that happen. So not only do I know what I need to know, but I also know, ooh, I just added another one. Oops, sorry. I've been doing that a lot lately. I also know that I can batch my things so that I can get them done sooner and quicker. Batching is when you put a bunch of like things together, which really helps you to save time because you're not switching things out. So for example, I batch my videos. I have told you before, I sit down one day a week and I do a couple of videos at a time. During the school year, that's usually like 3-ish. I have multiple YouTube channels, which is why I need so many videos. 3 to 5 if they're like really short. Right now it's the summer, and so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on my list today. So I gotta go a little quicker. We got stuff to do. And I know that I can do that because it is summer, but I'm batching the important things because I want to make sure that they are up. I want to make sure that they're ready. I want to make sure that that happens. When you are a full-time teacher, you don't have as much time. You don't have, you know, all day, every day to make your business happen, which means that sometimes things happen. Like, you know, you're like, oh, I didn't know that there was a PTA meeting today, or, oh, now we're suddenly doing X, Y, Z, you know, we're doing field day and I'm exhausted and there's no way I'm gonna be able to do anything. If you batch your stuff and you get your things done ahead of time that have to happen to move your business forward, then you don't have to stress about those things that are popping up quite as much. That might be, I need to, like, you know, post some products. That might be, I need to send emails, whatever it is, wherever you are in your stage of business. Make sure that you're batching the important things to make sure they get done, and make sure you get them done ahead of time. That being said, your bonus number 8 that I originally didn't have is going to be to know what is the bare minimum requirement. What I mean by that is, again, what do you absolutely have to do in your business and what is more like optional? So for me, for example, for Becca's Music Room, I know that I need to have a blog post that goes out every other week. Okay? I also know I need to send emails. I typically write them on Thursday, but I have to have one on Sunday, and then I usually have one on Tuesday. So at the very least, I need a blog post every other week, and I need an email or 2 every week. And I need to have products, but I have a lot of products, so I'm not super worried about that. If I have those 2 things covered, then I know my business is good to go. Okay? That's all that has to happen. Okay? Everything else is optional. So if I want to make more products, great. I don't have to. That's optional. Now, will making more products probably make you more money? Yes. But it's not a requirement. Knowing what is actually required and what is like bonus is going to help you with your business in prioritizing things and making sure you get things done. It's also going to help you on those weeks when you're like, I just can't like handle anything, because then you're like, oh, I can skip everything other than the blog post and the email. Everything else is optional. I don't have to do it if I'm just too exhausted for it, because that's a realistic thing. And then bonus points, if you do some of that ahead of time, like my blog posts are already ready to go, I don't even have to worry about the blog post. So that's like literally cutting my list in half. Now all I have to worry about is the emails. And so it's like just knowing what is the bare minimum to do is going to make your life so much better, because you know what has to happen and what doesn't have to happen. It helps you prioritize. It helps you make sure that you have things done, and it also helps you to stress less, because if you're like me, I am one of those people, I'm like, I have to do this video, and I have to make that product, and I have to make this reel, and I have to do this, and I have to do this, and I have to do this. And the realistic thing, the real truth is that I don't have to do all of those things. I would like to do them. It would be great if I can do them, but I don't have to. And there's a very big difference between have to and it would be good to. Okay, so make sure you know in your brain what are have tos and what are optionals and what are, if we have time, it would be cool. Those things are all going to have different priorities, and it's also going to help you, again, if you know your priorities, then you know what you need to do, especially on those days that are just crazy town. It's really nice to be like, you know what, I don't actually have to post on Instagram today. I can wait and do it tomorrow. That's fine. And then you're off the hook, and then you don't have to worry about it, because I know that I don't have to post on Instagram every day. I do post a couple times a week, but not every day. So all of that to say, know what you have to do, what is your bare minimum has to get done today, absolutely positively. And the last one is know what time it is. Now, I meant this as one thing, and now I'm kind of thinking of it as something else. But what I mean by this is that you go through seasons in your life and also in your store. And going through seasons means that things are going to change. Over the summer, you have all the time in the world, and so you can totally spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on your business throughout the summer because you have that time. Okay, when it's back to school season, you are super busy at the school, and so you may not be able to dedicate as much time as you want to your business, which is really frustrating coming like from summer to back to school. Like, ugh, I wish we could like ease into it a little bit, but that does not happen. Knowing what time of the year it is, knowing what season you're in, what season you personally are currently in, and what your priorities are right now is going to help you to know what you need to do. And it's also going to help you like chill out a lot. Because if it's back to school and you're not getting a whole bunch done in your TBT shop, like that's okay, because it's back to school season. Like, chill out. And vice versa during other times of the year. So know what time it is. The other like deeper level of this is know what time it is in perspective of know where you are and what you're doing. When I'm at school, I am at school. Like I told you, school stays at school. And so when I'm at school, I can't really help but think about my TBT shop, but I try to stay more in the moment. When I'm with my kids, I am teaching, I am, you know, doing those things. I'm making sure I'm teaching when I'm teaching, I'm at school when I'm at school, and then when I come home, all of the school stuff, all of the teaching stuff stays at school, and I can focus on other things. And so I don't need to be stressing about school when I'm trying to do work, business stuff, and I don't need to stress about the business when I'm at school. Like, keep them separate, keep them at their own, and be mindful about where you are, and also be present and in the moment, because this is your life and you want to be able to enjoy it, right? All right, friends, I would love to know your tips for TBT sellers who are also teachers. There's also a video coming out, either it just came out or it's about to come out, that is all about speeding up product creation. So specifically, if you're looking for like, I need to get a lot done in a little bit of amount of time, then that one's gonna be for you. And so if you haven't seen it yet, make sure you hit the subscribe and go check out my channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.